if you do have a business or if you do have a something that you are trying to market or trying to grow, I think you really should listen to this episode right here, because every time you see somebody, it's like, buy this, go here, come to my event, buy a ticket for this, all of this other stuff. And it's all just push, 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 push. All you want is for me to do this stuff. But I don't feel like you've given me anything.
Hey, get your notes out. I hope you taking notes.
Get your
Okay, so you
notepad
need to
out.
get the notepad out because you get school today. Okay, this might be a master class, not from me, but from Martell.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Today for Tomorrow podcast. Hold up. Did you subscribe yet? Did you subscribe yet to this channel? Because I know you've been here before. You've been watching these episodes. You've been listening. But have you actually hit the subscribe button yet? Okay? If you haven't done that, I need you to take a second right now and go ahead and hit that button before we get any further. Thank you. I appreciate you. Now that that's taken care of, let's go ahead and get into this episode. Today, me and Rodney were having a little bit of a conversation literally just a second ago. And he said over marketing. Like, is it a thing that you can do? Is it possible to over market yourself? What does that look like? You want to share a little bit of your thoughts on that?
Yeah. And we all are plugged into social media, right? That's why you're here today. And man, sometimes stuff come through your feed, and you're like, man, why I keep seeing this individual? Every time I see this individual, they marketing something, and usually that something is them, and in the end, when you look at it, and it's like, after a while, I'm like, man, can we just take a pause for a minute? And I get the fact of why you have to market, but it made me think like, man, I think they might be over marketing, because now I'm trying to think like, I'm starting not to trust what you're trying to push, because you're trying too hard, you know? Yeah. So that's kind of where my head was. Because to me, if what you got is working, then you should be able to be sustained based on the fruit that the work you've already done is bearing. So
For those that don't know, context, I own an agency that does advertising. We do advertising for salons. And so the marketing piece, or marketing, is a field that I've been in for some time now. And we do all kinds of stuff. And that's why I think this is a very relevant conversation, especially for me. I mean, it's my field. And so if you do have a business or if you do have a something that you are trying to market or trying to grow, I think you really should listen to this episode right here, because this is I'm telling you, I think just off of what he just said, I think I might say something that might surprise you. Because here's the thing, like, I know exactly what you're talking about. There's some people who every time you see somebody, every time you see them post something, it's like, buy this, go here, come to my event, buy a ticket for this, I'm about to speak at this place, come and watch me speak here, or all of this other stuff. And it's all just push, 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 push. Everybody come and buy from me today. But what happens is, with that, the audience is almost overstimulated. It's like, you've done too much promotion here. And I don't feel like there's any sort of connection, because it doesn't seem like you've done anything to actually connect with me. All you want is for me to do this stuff, but I don't feel like you've given me anything. And that's what happens whether we're talking about a person-to-person relationship. If every time I talk to Rodney, I'm like, Rodney, I'm doing this thing, come. Or, Rodney, I need this, help. Rodney, I need this, come here. That's what you're doing online, when you're just only putting out your flyer every 2 seconds and telling people to buy something from you. There's got to be some sort of relationship building. And that's what we call branding. So essentially, on social media, or whatever the platform is that you're using, because it doesn't have to be social media, but whatever the platform is that you're using, you have to kind of build the brand. And the way you do that, and by building the brand, essentially means giving value to people to where they want to be a part of what you have going on, the vision that you've casted for the people. What that means is maybe if we're talking about online, you got to know who you're talking to and know what needs they have, and then try to satisfy that in a way that you're not asking them for something, in a way that you're not telling them to buy something today. Give out some content that they might be entertained by. Give them some content that they might find value and be able to use today. Give them some content that they actually want to listen to, learn from, or subscribe to, so that they can kind of dig deeper into this kind of rabbit hole of a relationship with you and your brand. That's what happens. And when you're able to do that, Gary Vaynerchuk, he's a dude, made a marketing company called VaynerMedia. He has a way of thinking about it where he says jab, 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 right hook. The jab, jab, jab is giving value, 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 value. Now we have almost a personal relationship, and I've never even met you. But you're coming back to my channel every day. You're coming back to my page every other day because you're just so used to getting from me that one day when I say, hey, I've got a book coming out, you're like, oh, shoot. I already know this dude is amazing because I've gotten value from his free stuff. Every day I come to his channel to learn about business. But when I say, hey, I've got a book coming out, that's the right hook. Now it's like, oh shoot, of course I'm a buy. No, I'm supporting this dude. Whether the book is good or not, I'm supporting this man. And that's what happens when you actually build a brand on trust and value as opposed to just promoting.
Well, you gave the professional and the textbook breakdown. So hey, y'all, we get your notes out. I hope you taking notes.
Get
Okay,
your
so you need
notepad
to
out.
get the notepad out because you get school today. Okay, this might be a master class, not from me, but from Martell. So and so I feel you, Martell, what you're saying, and I guess let's dig into the science around that, because you talked about that jab jab right hook, and that's the science behind it. And unfortunately, I think without having someone put you up on game to understand that it is the science behind it, I think people think that, hey, what they're doing is the right way to go about it. So there's some miseducation, I guess, that's going on as it relates to marketing. But also, I think what's important as well, too, because you think about your business, you're marketing beauty salons, a business. So the fruit what you're doing, you're going to individuals and encouraging them to go do business with this place. Okay. And when they get to the place, they will determine whether they got what they wanted or didn't want. And they will return. They will tell other people, you can use that as other marketing material to show, hey, we have X amount of satisfied customers, all that. Here's where I think the difference, at least from what I was seeing, is that when someone's marketing themselves, and I'm not against that. If you're your own business and you are a speaker, you do different things, you do want to market yourself because you want to be called upon to do those things. However, you need to have a marketing strategy. So I'm going to give way to you to kind of maybe explain from your professional viewpoint what type of strategy you should have. Because in my mind, it's almost the same thing. You should have people saying, hey, this individual came and speak at our conference and things were transformed. You know what I mean? It's like, and then setting up that jab jab. Maybe there's content about the fact that, hey, just who that person is as an individual, and some of the things you do in life, so I can understand, hey, this is a good person through and through. So, so help us, school me too. Okay, what would be your advice to individuals who are their own business in a sense and that they're marketing themselves? What's a good approach?
I'm going to highlight a few things that you said there. There is acquisition and then there's service delivery. Instead of using the word acquisition, we could talk about like sales.
Okay, all right.
Sales, marketing, all that stuff is inside of the acquisition side of it. And then we'll talk about the product. So service delivery. And I don't mean product as in like you sell iPhones or something like that, but product, service, anything that you are packaging and someone can pay for. All right. Or pay for, or the thing that you're actually offering people in exchange for whatever you're exchanging. Okay. And so when it comes to the example that of the person who's coming into the salon and they get their hair done or whatever it might be, and then they're leaving and they have a new perception of the business. Everything that happens before they actually everything that happens before the transaction is made is all a part of the acquisition. and the sale. So everything on this side is all acquisition. And so that could be the post that they saw on social media. That could be the person that they spoke to who said, oh man, you should go over there. And that could be when they when they saw the business in person, they saw, oh man, that's it looks amazing. Or if they walked in, it's the people, the smell of the place. It's everything about it up until that point of transaction. And so if I'm trying to market myself, what I would start to think about is both sides. What's going to be the way that I can market and acquire in a way that is cost effective and requires the least amount of effort and energy on my end to make happen, that can happen consistently. And then on the other side, what can I do? What can I provide to another person that they would actually pay or exchange for in a way, and that doesn't cause me too much operational drag. It doesn't cause me I don't have to stay up every single night to make it done. It's not me that's the only person who can do it, because if it's only you that can do it, then it's not scalable, right? Unless, I mean, if you're trying to be an actor, then be an actor, but just know that that's not scalable. It's just only you that can do it. And so those are the kind of things that I'm thinking about on both sides, because when you have that, then you have something that can scale. And now once people find that, sometimes they're like, oh, well, I'm going to try this. Nope. If you're below, I'd say probably like 5 million, find an acquisition system and a process and a service that you can do consistently and that is incredibly beneficial and needed by someone else, and work those and scale those up as far as you possibly can.
So let's break it down. I mean, I hear what you're saying, but now, and I'm gonna use myself as an example. I don't want somebody to think we're talking about someone else, right? So, okay, most of my wife and I, we pastor Freedom in Christ Ministry. So, a good example is that, we put information out, we put content out, but I'd say we probably did soft marketing before, but not no true marketing in the sense, and that's to get people to come to service. That's to get people to understand and get the word of God. That's what we trying to get people to grasp onto, the need to put God in your life. And I think the struggle for me sometimes is, I want to put stuff out, but it's really about trying to get God's word and message out to get people energized about coming, versus trying to hype up something just to get people in the door. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's where I'm like, no, I just want to get the word out. I just want you to understand you can come here and get the word.
Uh-oh.
But you know what I'm saying? But I'm not trying to, you're going to get
trying
saved,
to sell it.
and you're going to have a new life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think some of that's needed, but maybe it's me that need to get past that. But help me out here, Martell. Where's your thoughts on that?
This question, I'm telling you, this podcast is about to get a touch controversial. Just warning. It's about to get a touch controversial, because the reality is, and look, I'm a believer. I'm team Jesus all the way. But there's some people who don't believe that strategy can be mixed in with your faith. And I think that's where the issue comes, because think about it like this. There's some people who's like, well, no, in a service, we just are led by the Spirit the entire time. That means that we don't have to start at a specific time. We don't have to end at a specific time. We're going to do whatever we feel like doing in the moment during the service, and everybody's going to have to stay for the entire time, or else you ain't a real believer. Now, we know that's not right.
Yes. We don't do that at Freedom
We know
Christ. We don't do that at Freedom Christ. Just by the way, editorial. Go ahead, Martell.
Right. And so the fact is, God is a God of order.
Mm-hmm.
And so we know that he puts structure in place for things. Now, yes, definitely be led by the Spirit. But the Spirit, if we're going to read the details of the Bible, he does things still in order. Like, he's not going against his own word. He said that. But to the question, I digress here. Let's go back. The thing is, I think, and here's the controversial part really, is it's like, no matter what because again, I said there's acquisition and then there's the actual service delivery or the product. The exchange is just different, but the methods essentially are the same. Now, the exchange isn't, I'm doing this because of $1 that they're going to give me to do that. Now, if that becomes the case, then that's when you get off way to in a wrong territory. Your heart's in the wrong place. You're not doing it for the right reasons. People are going to sense that. If they have the Holy Spirit in them at all, they're going to know that it's all kind of red flags around that. Now, the exchange, though, is we want you to get saved. So in order for me, because again, I think this goes back to actually the first point that you were making like a little bit earlier. I think the most effective sales and the most effective sales and marketing is the one that helps the other person to come to the conclusion on their own that you want them to get to. You're just guiding them along that path. So here's the thing. If you see an award, if you see 5 degrees on my wall, right, then what does that make you think about me? Real back and forth. What does that make you think about me?
Hey, you educated, you done put the time in, and you trained.
Right. And so I wouldn't then have to tell you, oh, I'm really smart, because you already know that. Okay. You've inferred that the conclusion has been made in your own head about this thing without me saying it to you. Oftentimes with small business, what we try to do is we tell everybody about how great we are. We say, hey, look, you need to be a part. Well, look, because I'm the best at this particular thing. When you come to my place, you're going to get the best experience and X, Y, and Z and all this. And our customer service is amazing and blah, 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 blah. But I don't care what you have to say. I don't care what you have to say. I need to come to that conclusion on my own. But if I see that there's a 5-star, I see that there's 1,000 5-star reviews on Google, I know that you're credible. You don't have to tell me that anymore. If I know that you've served over 20,000 clients in the past, okay, cool. I don't need to know that you know what you're doing. If you said you've got 24 hours of availability, 7 days of the week, and you've got a team of 100 people that are ready at all times of the day to serve you, I know that it's going to be convenient for me. You don't have to say that anymore. Now, translate this over to ministry here. We're talking about people getting saved. We're talking about souls being won. If I'm going to try to package God, the Bible, Jesus, and being saved as something that's attractive enough for you to want on your own, I need to use everything that I would use to make a business attractive to make the gospel attractive as well. It needs to, now watch this, because this is gonna change things. I need to, because the same thing that works when we're talking about MTV or when we're talking about something on social media. Do I believe that for me, because the question always comes down to, no matter what you're marketing to in a consumer's mind, is what's in it for me? If you can get me to believe on my own that being saved is a better decision for me than not being saved, that it's going to be better for my relationship, it's going to be better for me raising children, it's going to be better financially for me to survive and thrive in this world, it's going to help me to achieve my goals, and it's going to get me to a place of peace and comfort and love in my life. If you can help me to actually truly believe that on my own, then there's no question. I mean, you don't have to charge me anything. I'm going for it full on. Just show me where, and I'm going full force. Because at that point, now I've come to the decision on my own, and it only makes sense. It would actually sound stupid for me not to make that decision. Does that make sense?
Make total sense. No, and it actually aligns. I mean, that model fits, period, throughout, whether you talked about anything related to, and I think from the ministry standpoint, and and I agree with you too. I don't think it's controversial, maybe for those people listening, that there should be a strategy around, because God is a God of order, so there should be order in worship service, and order in worship, and order in what's the vision that God's giving you and how you going after it. So I totally believe all that, and I think this is a great conversation on all levels. I think people want to divorce what we call marketing, because you think about business, from church, those, I would say God, the Bible shows you how God run things, and how God run things aligns with how you run a business in a lot of ways. People don't
Come
understand that.
on. He
Yeah.
had to
Uh,
invent it.
yeah.
Who
Yeah.
came up with it?
Exactly. Well, I'll use Jesus as an example. I mean, I'm getting on a tangent here for a minute, but I think it's important. Um, Jesus had 12 disciples. He poured into them. He mentored them. And granted, we know what happened with Judas, but then there was a replacement for him. But the point, though, is that when Jesus ascended, Jesus didn't, he poured into them, but he didn't grow the word by himself. That scalability again. He had to have individuals who were trained and ready to take the message to the masses. So, and those individuals, trained individuals, become disciples as well to take the message to the masses. So that is like the perfect model of scalability. Okay. I mean, that's still happening today. So when we talk about order and even marketing in a sense, they went out and they gave the good news. They were in a sense marketing and telling you, hey, to your point you made about this is something you need. This is something, I'm telling you something you need. You choose whether you want it or not. And they're like, yeah, I do need that. That's something I'm just missing in my life.
It's communication.
Yeah.
That's all. That's what it is. Because effective communication will then get you to believe what I'm saying without me directly saying it to you. I don't have to tell you, you need this. No. If I can communicate with you in a way to where you say, gosh dang, I really need that.
Yeah.
How much more powerful is the other one?
That's true. And I think going back to, I mean, that's marketing, period. But, we get into the point, we talked about this. I started out with people who I feel over marketing. So,
Yeah.
so Martell, you talked about it a little bit. So what are some of the mistakes you see? And I say mistakes. What are some of the concerning things? I won't call them mistakes because these people, they might be working for these individuals, and I'm just tired of seeing it. I don't know. But what are your view on that as far as when it's not effective or when it's going against, I guess, what you've kind of been taught and kind of experienced?
If you want to fix any marketing issue, sales issue, there's a process. We build, we execute, we analyze, we adjust. The chances are, if you've been running up and against this wall consistently, like you've been spinning your wheels and you're just not getting any further, then chances are the inputs that are going in, the process that those inputs are going through, and the output is the same. You haven't really changed any of the variables to get a different output, so you can't expect one. Now, if I build with new materials and then I go along a process that is a bit different and I test out and see what actually comes back, then I have the data to know what adjustments need to be made. Chances are at this particular point, you might not be looking at the data and then making informed decisions to change the variables. Because what I see most is that people believe that I've tried everything. I've done everything. I've gone everywhere. I've spoken to everybody. I've read the books, whatever. And then they feel like because they've just reached a point that is, I guess, unpassable. The reality is look, there's people further than you, and there's people that are doing worse than you. And there's people who are doing way better than you in almost every area. Like there's only one richest person on the planet, and that's it. Like if we're talking about money. And so the reality is, if you can build it, execute, analyze, and adjust, you can't really be stopped because there's always data to then make an adjustment. That means that you just have to make the adjustment. If you're still trying the same thing over and over again, well, this is the way we've always done it. This worked back in the past and it should work today. If that's not true from the data, we don't make emotional decisions in business.
Yeah.
If the data says it's not working, then you need to make an adjustment. And if you're willing to make that adjustment, put in some new variables because the next test might not work. Cool. Look at the data, make another adjustment, see if that one works. And if you're willing to go through that cycle enough times to where you get to a different outcome, then you can't be stopped.
As we talk, and one thing I've learned here, for me personally, I might think the person's over marketing, but based on what you just said, they could have data and everything else that's telling them that what they're doing is working. So it's
You might
really,
have just seen that a lot of times.
yeah. I just probably just seen it a lot of times. So yeah. So it's not, but at the same time, I think this has been a great discussion on this topic for multiple reasons. But with that, I'm gonna just, hey, Martell, how you want to close this out on this? Where do you want to put the period on this? We might come back to this too, but let's where do you want to put a
There's
period
so
on
many
this?
more details and everything that I just mentioned.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, there's an infinite line of them.
we need to pick up this marketing thing a little bit again. I think and kind of maybe choose a lane, stay in that lane, and then work it through. We kind of went all over it a little bit based on my assumption that I've seen some people over marketing. But anyway,
Yeah.
that's just me.
And wrapping it up, like, final words, I would say, to the person who is, they've been just kind of running the same play over and over again, and people are getting exhausted from what you're doing, or it's not actually getting you a new result. What I would say is remember the model: build, execute, analyze, adjust. Because good marketing, it attracts the right people, and it also actually repels the wrong people. And so if some people, everybody's not supposed to like your brand. If everybody likes the brand, everybody wants it, everybody's supposed to be a part of it, everything like that, then your marketing's probably not that effective anyway, just from the numbers, unless you have a gazillion-dollar budget that you can spend to do everything and market to everybody on the planet. But chances are that's not the case. So it's for some people and also not for other people. Christianity, believers, everybody is supposed to be saved. But if you are consistently trying to do the wrong thing, kill everybody, steal from everybody, destroy everything that is built, and not keep the peace, then this ain't for you. We don't want you in like this ain't for you, big dog. You can be saved, you can get saved, but just know that the culture, the society, this stuff, it doesn't mesh well with that. Same thing for a salon. Like, if we do braids for kids and you want a perm, okay, come on now. Let's make it make sense here. You want your roof done and you come into a salon, we don't do that. So just try to just make sure that you're actually looking at data. Because if you don't have data, then that's probably that's the first thing that you need. And then make the adjustments based on that, and you'll get there. The information is out today. With that, don't go ahead and subscribe if you didn't do that at the beginning. I hope to talk to y'all soon. Rodney, you want to mention anything very quick? I know you got to go.
Yeah. Just real quick. Hey, once again, I always invite everybody out to come out and check out Man 2.0 on the second Saturday of the month. Also, one thing, like I said, I always want to mention that, hey, Mike's still engaged. Don't worry about that. That brother's going to be back in the seat.
He's alive.
Yeah, he's alive. He's making some things happen. He got some great things that he's doing. So when he gets back, I hope he gets a chance to share some of that with you. We want to invite you guys out for Sunday service as well, 11:30 a.m. The location for both of those things is 28202 Franklin Road. Hey, come on out, join us. We just worship God. That's all. And I'm not here to market. I'm just here to let you know that if you want to be saved, you got to find out who God is. I'm just inviting you to do that on Sundays at 11:30 in Southfield, 28202 Franklin Road.
See, and what he just did there was he said, look, I'm not trying to market, but we just talked about God for the last 100 episodes. So we already marketed to you. We want you to come to the conclusion that this is a lifestyle you want. You got to see it. You got to see it. But with that, thank y'all for tuning in. Go ahead and subscribe, share it with somebody else, and we hope to see y'all next week.
Peace.